Okay, round two, we've got the choice again. We'll play first. And yeah, definitely keeping this hand. Very good. Open it up with an outpost for red, white, and blue on turn two. Opponent is mulling, tanking at 6 cards, and decides to keep. Didn't tank very long, but tanked long enough to make me realize his 6-card hand's not like a slam keep. Kind of interesting the nuances you can pick up on just by how long someone hesitates. Which is why sometimes it's a good idea to hesitate or do something deliberately fast to sort of mask or hide, you know, your play, your decision making. If you have to contemplate an attack for a long time, it's pretty indicative you've got a trick or a removal spell that you're thinking about or measuring. So, something I've learned. Having the Feat of Resistance next turn is pretty nice. I will say that. Singing Bellstrike, interesting. Well, I can still cast Feat of Resistance on him at some point and get rid of that Singing Bellstrike. I think I may do that, especially with the ride down draw. Well, I'm going to cast Feat on the Elder since he's not doing anything. He can force away or whatever he wants in response. We basically trade a Feat for a Singing Bellstrike, which is not ideal, but we'll see if he's got something. Very nice. What do we discard? Maybe the Lurkers. Although the Lurkers look good. Maybe the Kieran? I guess Lurkers probably aren't as good as Kieran. Or we could just draw, but at this point I actually kind of need lands. Certainly not the Ride Down. Certainly not the Wind Scout. I guess we could ditch a Leaping Master. He's just a 2-drop. Follow up with the Wind Scout. Let's get an evasive guy going here. Especially with prowess, so we can maximize our ride down. Okay, opponent decides to bring low the Elder. I can tolerate that. It does take away our draw element, which is kind of nice since we're missing land draws here, but let's go ahead and slam down a Valley Dasher. Could have done the Lurkers, but when you're playing Valley Dasher and there's an empty board, I think you play the Valley Dasher. Got the ride down to take care of the first blocker that we need to as well, which is nice. Uh-oh. Well, that's pretty busted. Can't do nothing about that. So that was pretty harsh. Wasn't expecting the old arc lightning. Just going to F6. So good news is Treasure Cruise is playable at this point. But I don't need to play it yet. I think we're just going to continue the creatures. So far, it just looks like a bunch of removal. Haven't even seen a creature yet. So it could be playing all the fatties. All right. Play a land. Let's go ahead and get in with the Kieran. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. So, I can Treasure Cruise for 3 mana. I think we just hardcast the Lurkers. What this is going to let us do is be able to cast Ride Down and get in 5 points of damage. I could have, kept it hidden what the Lurkers are, but that's okay. Just a ton of removal out of our opponent so far. I guess I don't mind so much if this is a Weapon Master. Take our 2. All right. I think I Treasure Cruise first. Kind of want to see what I draw here. All right. So I can't do the War Shrieker follow-up, but we'll just get in. So you could have Force Away. Could have Feet of Resistance. But I think it's still worth trying to Ride Down here. Well, we got blown out, sadly. Wish that didn't work the way it did, but he had the feet, so... Despite his mulligan, his hand has just proven to be insanely good, and unfortunately that play right there just defined the outcome of the game. I'm pretty confident in saying so. Really sad, especially since we just Treasure Cruised and got a bunch of gas, but what can I do? I didn't want to make the trade. So it was make the trade versus potentially have him play the Feat of Resistance or not. Like he might have just made the trade. I'll never know. But we're definitely going to lose now. Like, I lost all confidence after that one. Trying to think of legit ways back in the game. Ash Cloud Phoenix. We could top deck an Ash Cloud Phoenix and still be in pretty bad shape, but have a chance. So that was pretty awful. That was definitely awful. Very sad about that. Defeat of Resistance. Quite the blowout. Quite the blowout. So now I have to be super conscious of Feat of Resistance in the future, which is just odd actually that it's just odd how this game is played out because he didn't do anything until turn. In terms of playing creatures, I don't even think he did a creature until turn 6 or something, which is just so rare that you would be in the position that you're in now after not playing a creature until turn 6, but on the mulligan. So that to me is pretty insane. So guess we'll make the trade because I'm taking 6 otherwise, which is pretty awful. I don't know what I'm doing about that Kieran. I have to draw Bring Low or I have to draw Ash Cloud Phoenix. That's all I can think of. Definitely need another ride down, and we definitely need our opponent to miss pretty much every draw for the rest of the game while we hit every draw of the game. That's the only thing that really comes to mind here. Weapon Master is pretty good. We're still okay. Yeah, it's quite the dilemma. I guess I have to unmorph and hope to draw, because if I leave this morphed, he cracks in for at least 5, taking me to 6, and he still has a flock to block. Yeah, I pretty much have to kill the flock here. I mean, there's still some draws I could get that would bring me back in this, but I gotta admit, I lost a lot of spirit after that Feat of Resistance play. I was really hoping he didn't have it. It's the second time I've been botched by Feat of Resistance. It's such a strong spell. Feat of Resistance is just an absolutely ridiculous spell. It really is. So bonkers and good. The diversity of what it does is simply unbelievable. Protect from removal, protect from combat trick, get rid of pesky auras, buff get your Outlast guys benefit, protect. Yeah, I mean it really does everything in this format. There's nothing that it doesn't do. If we draw another Weapon Master, if we draw an Ash Cloud Phoenix, if we can draw, ooh, geez, well that's pretty nasty. So, well, this forces us to draw something or we're going to die next turn. Bring Low. Nope, land doesn't do it. So we lose. So moving to game 2, now I have to be super conscious of Feat of Resistance. Would have been nice to have Jeskai Charm in our deck. We didn't have it in our last Jeskai deck either. So just based on what I've seen, I think our opponent's deck might be better than ours. He's got Jeskai Charm, he's got Feat like us, he's got Crippling Chill, Arc Lightning. All of those are better. Misfire Weavers. I think his deck's better than ours. He also has pretty much all flyers. So that makes me lose a bit of confidence. But we'll have to just figure out some way we can beat those cards. Smite doesn't seem all that good. He, at no point, I believe, had a 4-power guy. So that doesn't seem like it's going to work. Disdainful Stroke does counter Hardcast Alabaster Kirin, I guess, and Bring Low. What else does it counter? Does not counter Feat of Resistance, I'll tell you that much. Doesn't counter his Morph. Could do Barrage of Boulders. I guess that kills kills Misfire. Barrage of Boulders is actually kind of good based on what we saw. Kills Wind Scout and kills Misfire Weaver. So I guess I'm okay doing a Barrage. What's weak against our opponent? Maybe Active Treason's not all that good. Or I'd prefer to have a removal than a steel creature effect, I think. So everything else seems fine, I guess. Unless I really wanted to bring in a second Barrage, but I don't think that's necessary. Alright, so now that I know he's got Feat of Resistance, I basically have to make it... Ooh, well... We don't have a blue source. I still got to keep it. What was I just saying? Now that I know he's got Feat of Resistance, I basically have to be willing to make the trade that I didn't want to make there. I had to be willing to trade my 5-2 for his 2-3. Which I wasn't willing to do, but I should have been, in retrospect. All right. Unfortunately, we're going to need a land, or we're going to be in trouble. We can really put a lot of pressure on, though, if we can draw that land. I guess the problem is we fall victim to Arc Lightning again, but I guess at least we force him to have it. Well, not anymore, I guess. Now we can just do the Weapon Master. So land here would be ideal. A blue source at that would be nice. It's probably asking for a bit much, but... Alright, well, we can preserve our Weapon Master, or we can trade for his Morph. I'm not sure what to do exactly. Do I want to trade my Morph for his Morph? Not really. His Morph is probably like a Flock or something. I'm going to keep my Morph around. Could also be a Misfire Weaver, but I think my Weapon Master is more valuable being unmorphed at some point. So I could follow up with War Shrieker, but I think I'm just going to do Kirin. At least the Valley Dasher did his job. He's gotten in 6 points of damage so far. All right. Blue source off the top now is just insane. Nope. All right. Well, still get a Valley Dasher, like I said, still did his job, but I think his reign ends here. We do get to follow up with a War Shrieker plus a Weapon Master morph, so I guess that's pretty good. Should be a pretty obvious block, I would think. I mean, if he's worried about removal, he pretty much has to play into the removal. I can't imagine him. Well, I guess. Or the trick, I mean. I guess if he's got. I mean, the fact that he's tanking this long kind of tells me he's got at least a burn spell in his hand. That's just. Okay, that's just weird. Why would you not block the Kieran? All right, that block to me didn't make any sense. He was playing around something pretty needlessly, I think. Now if we get the blue source, we're looking really good. If he attacks with his Kieran, I am blocking. I'm not gonna play around a feat of resistance blocking. I mean, he'd still get it defensively as well, and I would take 2 damage. So there's really no reason to not block. I mean, if he's got the, it doesn't matter if he has the. I guess he could play like a trumpet blast or something, but I'm still gonna block. If he wants to play the feat of resistance now, I'll let him. At least that way, if I draw a removal spell, I can use it on the Kieran. Alright, well then why didn't he just bring low? Then he would have actually gotten damage in. So, still doesn't make any sense. Alright, we are going to need a blue source, I feel, in order to really make me feel confident in winning. But if we can get that, then I'll certainly feel good. The reason to not play Leaping Master here is it plays into Arc Lightning, but I don't know what to say. I don't really have a lot of... I don't really feel like holding creatures to play around Arc Lightning. Oh, okay. Well, GG's. It was a fun match. I had a good time. But this is the end. So Trumpet Blast, any blue source. So I've got 5, because I'm not counting the tap land. 5, 6, 7, 8. These don't even necessarily do everything for me, but they help. 9. I don't have that anymore. 10 draws? 10 draws that are good. Seems pretty significant. 10 draws out of 27? Yeah. We've got a very good chance being able to do something. I mean, 12 draws, I guess, if you count our tapped blue sources as well. But yes, Wingmate Rock was just about the last thing I was hoping to see out of my opponent there. I could have stand Arc Lightning. That would have been much better. Could have stood a lot of things, but Wingmate Rock was definitely the last thing I wanted to see. Maybe end hostilities after I just played my board. No, at least that would set us even, and a blue source would still be good. But so yeah, when you count it up and there's 12 live draws, certainly makes me feel like we're in this game. But taking 8 flying, at least making me leave up 3 white to block. Him gaining 3 life each turn, too, is not really helpful. Yeah. Unfortunately, it just doesn't help. Just doesn't help. So, forced to attack with Valley Dasher. I was contemplating if anything else worth attacking with, but honestly, no. There is nothing worth attacking with. Absolutely nothing worth attacking with here. So, Valley Dasher rapidly becomes useless. Doesn't even block it. Doesn't even block it. He's still playing around Ride Down. If I had Ride Down, wouldn't I swing with everything? Alright, so since we're pretty damn close to death, I may have to attack next turn regardless of outcomes. Yeah. Alright, well, just wasn't meant to be, folks. Sadly. I said I'd swing with everything, but I lied. So, if we'd seen the blue source, this game would have been completely different. I think regardless of the Wingmate Rock, but we didn't see the blue source and he saw Wingmate Rock, so those 2 factors I think are going to contribute to a loss here, because now I'm in the situation where do I want to block the Wingmate Rock, and if he's got just Guide Charm, he just gains a bajillion life, and he's got 6 cards in hand, and I checked out of this game a while ago. Alright, so you gain your life. Guess we'll do the Leaping Master. So we can block your Wingmate Rock. So if you have the Jeskai Charm, we don't die. but I still take way more damage than I can possibly afford to take. Just a grip full of cards. Just no need to play anything. He's so far ahead on the board. No need to block Valley Dasher, even though there's absolutely no reason he should be letting it by when I'm attacking with one dude, in my opinion. Alright, well, it was fun while it lasted, but couldn't make it work, unfortunately. Like I said, there were 12 draws we could have had the last 3 turns that did something for us, but didn't draw any of them, so can't do anything. Really, absolutely no reason you should be tanking here. Not even a little bit. Just no reason to be tanking here. I haven't attacked the whole game. I would say that indicates pretty strongly my morph guys I can't do anything with. Really no reason to let by Valley Dasher. It's frustrating for me because there's just no reason for him to do these plays the way that he's doing. I can't wrap my head around why he's taking damage unnecessarily when I'm clearly missing my blue resource and have been the entire game. When I'm not unmorphing dudes, like, doesn't that just tell you that I can't unmorph them? So it's just frustrating to lose because it's been a kind of grindy match. He's down to 3 minutes left on his clock. He played a mythic that was pretty much the only mythic that I feel like was the most devastating in that spot. Just a lot of things kind of led to me being frustrated this match, but that's all right. We still have one more match, hopefully, to win, and we'll see you in the next round.